Okay, I'm going to give a short tutorial on what I've been doing for my PICC line on my antibiotic. Of course, do not ever substitute what I tell you for what your doctor is telling you. So that's my disclaimer. If whatever your doctor tells you, that's what you need to do. But hopefully he'll tell you what I've been told to do. So here's my PICC line, and I take it around. Take the orange cap off, and you will need this later. I lost this the very first time I did my IV. Make sure you don't lose it. Take an alcohol swab, and you're going to wipe it. For about 10-15 seconds. Wipe it really good, get it disinfected. And again, anything your doctor tells you that is different, you follow your doctor's instructions. Okay. This is my saline. Oh, before I get started, let me say, saline, administer saline heparin. So the nurse told me before the first day I got this to remember SASH. So saline, administer saline heparin. And the way I like to do it is I like to lay everything out before I get started so that I have it in order of the way I need to do things. So you want to squirt just a little bit out. And my biggest weakness always is this clamp. But this saline is not going to let you push in until you open up the clamp. And sometimes it's hard to do one-handed. But then the nurse taught me to do this like a heartbeat. 2 at a time. So it goes all the way to 10 to 0. So you go 1, 2, 1, 2, like a heartbeat. And you will taste it. Okay, so there's my saline. And I should have left this on because that's another positive thing to keep this sanitized. So if you leave this on, like I did not, leave this on, it will keep it sanitized while you get your antibiotic ready. So once again, if your doctor has given you separate instructions than what mine is, please follow your doctor's instructions. So this is your typical saline pack, and here's the antibiotic in the glass jar. I'm going to break the neck. Don't be gentle with it, because if you're gentle with it, it won't work. And then I'm going to squeeze the saline in. You can see it fill up. And fill it about halfway, maybe 3/4. And then shake it again. Don't be gentle. I tried to be gentle with it the first time. I guess I was scared of it. You want to shake it really good. Okay. Everything should be dissolved. Now, notice my vial also filled up with saline. So if I hold it upside down as well, it'll seep into the saline bag with the antibiotic. And you'll see just small drips come in. And see how this is lowering? Okay, that's good enough. Okay, now I'm going to open the tubing. The pharmacy tubes this up, rolls it up, the tubing up for you. And just to be on the safe side, since I didn't use my other vial to keep this disinfected, I'm going to disinfect again because I want it to be super clean. I don't want this to be infected. So I'm going to clean it again. And then I'm going to take this blue cap off. And I'm right-handed dominant. So I'm going to screw this in using my right hand, because if I had this side in my right hand, then I'd be screwing this side, and I don't want to mess with that end of it. So I use my right hand. Now I'm going to unclamp the antibiotic. I'm going to set my timer to what my doctor told me to set it to. You set yours based on what your doctor told you to set it to. And I'm going to take this and just hang it. And I like to hang it with this vial showing to my recliner so I can see how far I'm going. So I hang it on my shutter and I give it the amount of time until it finishes. And so I'll be back shortly and show you how to wrap it things up. Thanks. Okay, so my antibiotic has now finished and I'm going to wrap things up. So I just take it off the hanger, and I usually have been leaving this hanger on my shutter. And I come back over here to where I've laid everything out. And I unscrew the antibiotic. I like to disinfect again. I don't want to get infected. So I'm very particular about that. And I still have my clamp undone. It's unclipped so that I can finish out my round of this IV. So I'm going to squirt a little bit out. Remember, I'm right hand dominant. And again, you'll taste it. Pump it like a heart. Okay, notice this time I am going to leave this on until I get the heparin ready, which won't be long. I'm just doing it sort of as an example so that you can see what I should have done the first time. So I'm going to leave this on, that way I won't have to clean again for when I use the heparin. The heparin, to me, is the hardest to get out. So I pull down on the syringe a little bit, twist a little bit, trying not to waste a lot of it. And I try not to squirt it, because if you just barely squirt it, it just squirts out. So I just do drips. And I asked the nurse at my doctor's office, was that okay? And she said yes. Again, you go by what your doctor says. So I got a drip out of there. Now I'm going to take my saline off, still disinfected. Right hand dominant. Push this in. And then don't forget your orange cap. Goes back on. Now, these sleeves, I love. They didn't use these in the hospital, but my doctor's office has been giving these to me. So I wrap this around, tuck this under. Because again, I'm using one hand. The nurse does it a lot better than I do. Don't forget to clamp off. And then I'm going to put a new sleeve on, because that one was getting a little bit stretched out of proportion. And it's okay, it came out. I'm going to put it back in. And we'll make sure the sleeve covers up everything on there, and it just feels so much better to have it a little bit confined. The nurse does it better than I do, but there's the IV antibiotic and the process for the PICC line. Again, always follow your doctor's instructions, but I hope that will help with you seeing that you can't be so gentle with some things. Some things you've got to keep disinfected and using your dominant hand and things like that. So I hope it helps. Thanks.